Well, we have now the opportunity to discuss the three presentations. Who would like to start? Yes, please.
Me?
Yep.
I would like to make a remark on the last paper. There's no question that the crucial point is if our origin is in a chaotic system or in a logic. If we come from chaos, I have computed that the probability of our existence is 10 to the minus 32. In other words, this means that 100,000 billion of universe like this should exist for us to be here. So the question is, if chaos is at the origin of our existence, or if our existence needs a strict logic. If our existence needs a strict logic, as I think it is, then the logic needs the author, period. All other considerations are trivial and not fundamental. So when people speak about chaos, the key question is, can you deduce the fundamental logic that science has established to exist from chaos? No one has been able to do this. No one, I mean, no one, zero. When they speak, they don't realize they introduce logic. But if logic exists, the order must exist. Now, this is the real fundamental question to be posed to those who are interested in knowing the topic you are dealing with. The others are details. So my conclusion is that a fundamental logic exists. If a fundamental logic exists, the art of this logic must exist. Now, the atheistic view is that the logic exists, otherwise they will be against us, against science. They cannot deny that what science has been establishing, as I've reported in the opening, in the previous lecture, there's no question that a logic exists. To deny the existence of logic is contradictory, because if everything is in the immanentistic component of our existence, then the greatest achievements of the immanent are strictly theoretical logic, better known as mathematics, and strict experimental logic, better known as science. Neither in mathematics nor in science has everybody been able to demonstrate the non-existence of the transcendental sphere of our existence. So the conclusion is that you should realize that the key point is not in the understanding of non-scientific facts, but restricting ourselves to scientific knowledge. Thank you.
Someone want to? Yeah.
Short comment. Thank you, Professor, for your comments. Just to say that though I'm a Jesuit, I believe in God, so I'm not an atheist. I can't show, but I don't need to show you, but there are arguments to show that the potential discovery of extraterrestrial life is not against or in contradiction with the Christian faith. But just to say this, I haven't talked about chaos at all. And there are different levels when we can discuss about logic, scientific level, philosophical level. But I haven't discussed at all this point in my paper or my short presentation. But of course, it's a very good point. Thank you.
Parshul, you'd like to make a remark?
Yeah, I would like to comment on the space engineering talk, and then also going back to the discussions of this morning, actually. And well, the starting point would be, I think, especially for an academy, any kind of scientific academy, I think it's both important to challenge the frontiers of what we know and cannot know and so on, as has been discussed extensively. But I think it's also important to find a common denominator of what we do know and what we can handle. And I think both the space engineering, but much more trivial, the simple aeronautics. I mean, most of us came by aircraft, and it's amazing how complex the system is of getting fossil fuels into the aircraft, flying here, and actually it's working quite well considering the whole complexity with all flaws that are there. And I think one should really sort of make this clear also in public that there is a lot that has been achieved. And the reason why I think it is important for a scientific academy is that people are arguing against progress, from my point of view, by this thing of chaos. I have a lot of friends in finance and economy, and many of them come up with the argument, well, we cannot steer economy, we cannot steer anything because it's anyhow all chaotic. You guys, you scientists are proving to us that it's all chaotic and uncontrollable and non-deterministic, mixing it all up and sort of taking this as an excuse for unethical and just sort of disoriented behavior from my personal point of view. So I think it's important to talk about the positive examples. If it's air technology, but also in history, I think there are sort of the constitutions that govern our democratic societies of today, and I think there is a lot of progress also in history and in technology, and I think we should also state these almost self-evident basics, because other people in our society are actually going against this, and I think it's important for science to work on that also.
Thank you. I take that as a kind of outside votation of observers of what we are doing here, and that's one of the essential parts. Just perhaps I have to rush, but still the last contribution by De Robertis.
So in this matter of space and outside life, it is interesting that some people have the theory of panspermia, by which DNA would have arrived from outer space into the Earth. In fact, it's so difficult to conceive that we have a unique genetic code that very distinguished scientists have said, well, maybe it came to be protected from cosmic rays in a spaceship, that life came to Earth in a spaceship, and notably amongst those was Francis Crick, who wrote a whole book on it called Life Itself. So anyway, these ideas have been around, of spaceships and life.
Well, it's good to have these kind of reflections. It's kind of stimulating, and okay, it's another possibility. But still, that's not answering the questions of the origin of life, but it's just saying, yeah, it's not on that particular area where we live, but it's elsewhere. Good. I'm sorry, I have to cut the discussion.
May I make a telegraphic remark?
No, because we have to get further, because otherwise we don't get any lunch today.
What you say is incorrect, because they ignore the existence of cosmic rays. If life is coming from outside, cosmic ray would have killed this, period. Cosmic rays exist, and they're very intense. So what is my message is that forget about these people. They don't know what they're talking.
Okay, now